Hello guys, so this is a very different setting for this review. This is a very quick review of The Flash. Sorry, I'm so busy at the moment that I haven't even got time to set up my camera and microphone to kind of talk properly about this review or do a really good cut. So this is just going to be an unedited review of The Flash. And I've been very excited for this film. It's probably my most anticipated film of the year. And what did I think of it? It was okay. It was an okay film. I really enjoyed it. I was never bored. This film is so well paced. I was never bored and I really enjoyed a lot of things. I was surprised by a lot of things. But by the end of the movie, I was a bit like, oh, right. And we'll get into that in a minute. I am going to talk spoilers in a minute, but I'll let you know when I do. So if you haven't seen the film, stick around for a little while and then we'll get into spoilers and then you can go. So obviously the story involves Barry Allen going back in time to attempt saving his mother. In doing so, he messes up the timeline going forwards. But in this version, it's very much that. Barry Allen goes back in time, but he doesn't just do that. He also enters a different universe going back in time. And that is the one with Keaton's Batman, Sasha Calle's Supergirl, and General Zod returning to destroy Metropolis once again. And it's about them trying to stop Zod. And that's the premise of the film, really. And Barry learning the lesson that you shouldn't go back in time and change things because scars make you who you are. And it's very true. Now, the film, great pace again. Keaton as Batman. I loved Sasha Calle's Supergirl. I thought was really good, even though she hardly had any dialogue or any screen time. Ezra Miller, I really don't like Ezra Miller. I really don't. But they were very, very good in this film. And there's two of them as well. And they are the best comedy duo I've seen since Rush Hour with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. Seriously, really good duo. And but we know Ezra is no longer the Flash. We know this. It's not going to happen for many, many reasons. Anyway, the overall premise of the film I really liked. I really liked some of the action scenes, especially with Keaton's Batman. Like, really great. I loved Sasha Calle's Supergirl, what she had to do, the very little things she had to do, really liked. But also, I really liked Barry's story. And Barry Allen, the Flash, is not really a superhero I've been following. And to kind of, have the door opened on this character, I'm kind of like, I'd like to go back and, read a few comics and watch some of the animations. Maybe watch the TV show. I won't watch the TV show, but definitely I want to explore this character a little bit more going forward. And I'm sure James Gunn will with the DC universe in the future, but not with Ezra Miller, obviously. Now let's get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, go away and let's go. So James Gunn said this is one of the greatest comic book movies ever. Wow, this man was really trying to get people's butts in this cinema, in the seats. It's not one of the best comic book movies ever. It's definitely one of the best of the year. I have to say that. It's one of the best of the year. Ant-Man was still one of the most disappointing comic book movies of the year because it was... Anyway, we're not talking about Ant-Man. We're talking about The Flash, man. The Flash. So James Gunn lied. And I think the reason James Gunn sort of kind of overhyped it was because he was trying to get audiences to know the explanation of why the DC universe is being reset or the DC extended universe is being ended. Now, one of the aspects I didn't like about the film is that it goes back to the Man of Steel time. Man of Steel is not a popular film with general audiences. It really isn't. So I don't know why they used that as the background for this film, but it's very much a celebration of the Snyderverse and ending the Snyderverse for definite. And right, this is big spoiler, so if you haven't gone, you gotta go. Michael Keaton dying in this film, I saw coming a mile off, to be honest. It did make sense in terms of the story, and also Sasha Calle's Supergirl dying. But it did feel a bit like, only Henry Cavill's Man of Steel could have stopped all this, and that girl couldn't. It felt a bit like that, to be honest. I was quite disappointed, but it was a main fold into the story, and it taught Barry why it's important not to change things in the past. Everything was great, right? Up until Act 3, that big battle, and everything is just such a mess, and Keaton and Calais dying is, yeah. But when Barry finally accepts that his mother has to die, goes back in time, you know, make sure she doesn't get the tomato soup. Very emotional scenes, I have to say. Really emotional stuff. I was actually like, you know, at some points. Really great last scene he has with his mother. That is what works in this film, is the emotional weight of what he tries to attempt. So, you know, puts the suit back. He makes sure the camera is angled differently, so his father is seen on CCTV. So then, you know, it's revealed in the courthouse that his father was at the shop whilst his mother was being murdered, and, you know, he's getting released. Barry leaves the courthouse. He gets a phone call from Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne pulls up in the car, and who should it be? Should be Michael Keaton. It's George fucking Clooney. It's George Clooney. I was smiling ear to ear because me and my partner just recently watched Batman and Robin, and I was just like, that is hilarious. But also, it's very, very detriment to the story, because it fucks the story. It completely ruins the whole film, because Barry has still not learned his lesson. He's learned a lesson, but he's also still ended up in the wrong universe. So Warner Brothers have trapped Ezra Miller's Barry Allen, the Flash, in the George Clooney verse, which I find hilarious, to be honest. So yeah, that was a bit like, oh, like the whole point of the story is Barry, you know, can't change a thing. So yeah, it was a bit annoying, to be honest. It really was. Loved seeing Ben Affleck back as Batman. Loved seeing Wonder Woman for the last time. It really did feel like it was the end of the DC Extended Universe. So I am ready. I am very ready to enter a new DC universe with Superman Legacy. Blue Beetle, to be honest, is the first character in the DC universe, but Superman Legacy is the first true DC universe film. James Gunn explained it like that. I don't know. So I'm ready. I'm ready for this reboot. I didn't want a cinematic universe for DC. I kind of love films like the Batman and Joker. I feel like they could have just done that with all their films going forward and TV shows. They don't have to be connected, but, you know, Gunn's the main decision planner. I respect it, and I'm very excited to see what Gunn's vision is going forward. So we will see. And to all the Snyderverse fans out there, please shut up. A lot of them trying to bash this film very hard, and it's not working. It's not making a lot of money this weekend, unfortunately. But, you know, people just saying, oh, it's because people have lost trust in the DC universe. There's no, what trust? It's not about trust. It's just about if they give a shit about the Flash. That's all it is. So yeah, so Snyderverse fans, calm down. Your universe has ended now. This film ends that universe. So yeah, but anyway, that was my review of The Flash. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry again that it was on my phone and everything, and we're not in front of the computer, and it's not like really funnily cut and everything, but I just wanted to give my thoughts very quickly. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.